Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be discussing a very important topic, that is trigeminal nerve and the parasympathetic ganglion in anatomy. Okay, so this is something a very big topic. So it will be covered within part 3 or 4. Okay, so we'll just begin. In trigeminal nerve, first it has got two important roots, that is sensory and motor. But here sensory is large, okay, and motor is somewhat smaller, but sensory it is large. That you have to remember. Now this trigeminal nerve, okay, it has got some ganglia. Okay, this ganglia is nothing but, since sensory is large, right, so it has got a sensory root expansion. So because of this sensory root expansion, because it is of large root, it has expanded such a way that has formed a ganglia called as trigeminal ganglia. So what is the location of this trigeminal ganglia is Meckel's cave, right, and because of this Meckel's cave, it has got divisions. So through the Meckel's cave, it will produce the divisions, mainly the ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular divisions, right. So ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular subdivision. But remember one important thing, that is the mandibular division, it is going to join with the motor root. Okay, so here the mandibular division is going to join with the motor root of the trigeminal nerve, and then it is going to form the trunk. They are asking a very important question, how it forms, how the trigeminal nerve forms trunk. Very simple answer, very simple, that is your mandibular subdivision is going to join with the motor root to form the trunk, right. So this is about the basics of the trigeminal nerve. Now let's see the each important things, right. First is ophthalmic nerve. So this ophthalmic nerve, where it will pass through, it is going to pass through the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. So through the lateral wall of cavernous sinus is going to give some branches. What are those branches, sir? Okay, so it is going to give three important branches. One, it is of lacrimal nerve, remember it as LFN. Okay, that is lacrimal nerve, frontal nerve and the nasociliary nerve, very important nerve. Okay, so lacrimal nerve, frontal nerve and nasociliary nerve. But important thing is, this lacrimal as well as frontal nerve is going to pass through the superior lateral compartment of the superior orbital fissure. So who is going to pass through the superior orbital fissure? Very important, two important nerves, that is the lacrimal nerve and frontal nerve. What about nasociliary nerve, sir? So nasociliary nerve is going to pass through our common tendinous ring. Very simple, right? So these both the nerve, mainly the lacrimal and frontal nerve, is going to pass through the superior orbital fissure, right. Very simple. Now nasociliary nerve is going to pass through our common tendinous ring. Okay, now let us see about the ciliary ganglion. So ciliary ganglion is nothing but the parasympathetic ganglion of the eyeball. Okay, so of eyeball. So where it is located, sir? Very important, lateral, between the lateral rectus muscle as well as the optic nerve, right. So between the lateral rectus muscle and the optic nerve, and its branches, if you see, it is going to give off short ciliary branches, and it is named and is numbered. Okay, that is 8 to 11. So 8 to 11 short ciliary nerves, this ciliary ganglion has got some branches. Understand? Very simple, right. Now let us see the roots. So the ciliary ganglion has got three important roots to be understood, sir. Very simple. There is a parasympathetic root, sympathetic root and the sensory root. So we will be discussing in that detail in pathways. Okay, so parasympathetic root also called as motor root. Understand? Okay, now let's see the parasympathetic root, the pathway. First, very important, the parasympathetic root, where it will arise? It will arise from the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Edinger-Westphal nucleus, and will pass through the third nerve, mainly our oculomotor nerve, right. So mainly our third nerve, that is the oculomotor nerve, it is going to pass through. Then where it will go, sir? Then to nerve to the inferior oblique muscle down, inferior oblique muscle and then to the relay in the ciliary ganglion. Very simple. What we have learned, arise from the Vespal, the Edinger-Vespal nucleus and passes through the third nerve, that is the oculomotor nerve, and then from now to the inferior oblique muscle and relay in the ciliary ganglion. Then, so ciliary ganglion has got the branches, short ciliary nerve we have seen. So via the short ciliary nerve, we supply our what muscles? Ciliaris muscle. Very simple, ciliaris muscle, and also the sphincter pupillae muscle you have to remember. So very simple concept, the pathway you have to remember. Edinger-Vespal nucleus arises from the inferior oblique muscle, okay, by the third nerve, we pass through the third nerve and come to the inferior oblique muscle, relay in the ciliary ganglion and has got some branches, short ciliary branches. Via that, it is going to supply our muscles, mainly ciliaris muscle and the sphincter pupillae muscle. Understand? Okay. Now, this is about the parasympathetic route. What about sympathetic route, sir? Very simple. So, this is the sympathetic route. It forms plexus from which artery? Internal carotid artery. And then it is going to relay in the ciliary ganglion. Very simple. If ciliary ganglion comes, then branches via the short ciliary nerve, it is going to supply the dilator pupillae muscle. Very important one more question. Parasympathetic sphincter. Okay, sphincter pupillae muscle. Sympathetic dilator pupillae muscle. One more question. Very simple. So students will confuse with this, but I want it to be thorough. Okay, parasympathetic sphincter pupillae muscle. Sympathetic dilator pupillae muscle. Understand? Okay. Next very important topic, that is the maxillary nerve. Okay, diagram is very important. So we have the trigeminal ganglion here. Okay, and we'll have, okay, I not written here. This is the, so here you will have the rotundum, that is called as foramen rotundum. Make a note of this. Okay, foramen rotundum, others all is correct. Okay, so here you will be having the inferior oblique fissure. Okay, but then it passes through the pterygopalatine ganglion, which contains of greater and lesser palatine nerves. Understand? And it is moving through zygomatic nerve. And what is this? So it is communicating, the branch is carrying the parasympathetic fibers. Understand? Then here you will have the zygomatic temporal nerve. Okay, here through the infraorbital canal, very important, infraorbital canal, we have posterior, middle and anterior nerves that is carried by superior alveolar nerves. Okay, this is the diagram. Just have it in your mind. Pathway is very important. What is it, sir? So it arises from the trigeminal ganglion we have discussed, right? Okay. Next, through the foramen rotundum, it is moving through what, amma? What is this? Pterygopalatine ganglion. Okay, enters the pterygopalatine fossa and suspends, that is suspends the pterygopalatine ganglion. Next, where it moves? Next, where it moves? Infraorbital fissure. So through the infraorbital fissure, it enters the flow of the orbit and passes through the infraorbital canal. Okay, infraorbital canal, and through the infraorbital foramen, it is going to reach the face, and in face, when it reaches the face, it is going to give us three important branches, that is namely palpebral branch, nasal branch and labial branch. Okay, it is going to cover most of the face. Okay, through these three branches, palpebral branch, nasal branch and the labial branch. Okay, so in part 2 again we will discuss more about the maxillary nerve, right? So keep watching in other parts also. Thank you.